Charm City Decoded Podcast. I am your host, Sophia Turner, and I welcome you all back. This is episode number 7, and we're going to be discussing a little bit more about Black history since we are in Black History Month. The title of it is Black Belt. Now, as I was reading The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, I saw this term in there called Black Belt. I'm like, what is Black Belt? And Black Belt, as I learned when I researched it on the internet, is some rich black soil that grew down in the South, that was worked on by enslaved people. Okay, and they was. I'm gonna give you what I wrote down so you can learn a little bit more about it as I did. Okay, origin. Black Belt in the American South refers to the social history, especially concerning slavery and black workers. A geological region known as the Black Belt is southern counties with at least 30% African American population in 2000. Geology emphasizes highly fertile black soil. So that's what it is. It's highly fertile black soil. Historically, the Black Belt economy was based on cotton plantations, along with some tobacco plantation areas along Virginia and North Carolina border. The valuable land was largely controlled by rich whites and worked by very poor, primarily black slaves. After 1945, a large amount of the laborers were replaced by machinery, and they joined the Great Migration to cities of the Midwest and West. Political analysts and historians continue to use the term Black Belt to designate some 200 counties in the South from Virginia to Texas that have a history of the majority of African American population and cotton production. By 1900, the term Black Belt was commonly used to indicate a geopolitical region, much like later coinages such as Snow Belt, Rust Belt, Sun Belt, and Bible Belt. In 1936, sociologist Arthur Raper described the Black Belt as some 200 plantation counties where blacks represented more than 50% of the population. So, what my understanding is that this was black rich soil that was in the South, down south, that enslaved people who were the majority in that particular area worked on, that helped to produce cotton and tobacco. Cotton and tobacco. Okay. Now, they saying that, I also read that boll weevil, and that is considered a beetle from Mexico. And this beetle from Mexico called boll weevil infested the cotton that was growing down in the South, which affected the sale of it, where the unit, each unit was worth at the time, I think 36%, and then it went down to 10%. Just like the land was higher, and then that also, the price of that went down drastically, but the taxes increased. So that caused a big hardship when it come down to the sale of cotton back then. So that's the whole point of a lot of the migration, because from the South up to the West and Midwest. So I thought that was a good part of history that I did not know about. So I felt the need to want to share it with you for this podcast, since we are still in Black History Month, and I want to also keep giving you little tidbits of information that will help us all be aware of our history. And if you have any information on Black history that you want to share, please by all means leave it in the comment section. And I'm going to continue to do my best with sharing with you throughout this month as well as throughout the term of my podcast. And I hope it's a lengthy one. But, any information that I can share with you that will help broaden our minds and our knowledge on us as a people. I just think of also, I don't know why I think of this, it just makes me think of who we are and how people see us, far as Black people, and the different names, from slavery up to now, what we've been called. We've been called, I don't like using this term, but I'm going to say it for the podcast sake, nigger. We've been called colored. We've been called Black. We've been called African American. It's hard to keep up with the different titles that they want to call us. The different terms that they choose to change through each generation, new generation, or era. That seems to, at their whim of and them meaning, who we would consider Caucasians, white supremacy, Caucasians. I don't know. It's good to know when I think about the Black rich soil that our ancestors worked on back then, and them naming it Black Belt. It's just, I wonder if that's also a reason why, the Black Belt will seem to be very important in the Black family when they're raising children, or is that from the whip? It just, my mind just be wandering all over the place when it come down to us as a people and how we wind up where we at today, our thinking and our doing. Some of us do more than others when it come down to, learning about self, learning about us as a people. And I know we all have choices in this world. And some make their choices off of the experiences, right? What they've been exposed to. And some of us may not think that others make the best decision or make the best choice for themselves. Yeah. But I'm just thinking about the Black experience as a whole. And even though Black Belt is not about beatings, but I can't help but wonder what made them name it Black Belt. I understand that it was rich Black soil, but why you add the belt onto it? Was it because of the chained up individuals who created that? When you think of a choo-choo train or you think of a car, and they need that belt in order for them to keep it moving. So they used us as that belt. So that's how they came about with the name Black Belt when it come down to the soil. Or was it because of the whip? Or, I just can't help but wonder how that they even came up with the name Black Belt. And that just make me think about us as a people again. And the mindset that we had back then, and what we have now. And I just hope that we keep pushing forward as we always have, and keep motivating each other to do better, because we are worthy, as I always say. We are worthy people just like anyone else. I think about also what has happened um, in our time now. Another case where we have another black man that was killed. His name, I'm going to speak it out loud. His name is Amir Locke. He was a 22-year-old young man. And he was sleeping on the sofa. You know, he spent the night at someone else's home, sleeping on the sofa, underneath a blanket. And the police came in due to a no-knock warrant. Scared the young man out of his sleep. And they killed him. Yes, he did reach for a gun that was laying, by him. But it was a gun that he was legally permitted to carry. He had a permit to carry this weapon, this gun. So if if you was woken up out of your sleep, you're hearing all this loud noise coming from every direction, and you see nothing but when you open your eyes from out of and pop your head from out of that blanket that you was laying under as you jumping up, and all you see is black people in all black with guns pointed at you, what would you do? What would you do? Any reasonable person would do what Mr. Locke did. So my thoughts on the no-knock warrant. I don't agree with the no-knock warrant. I think they should get rid of that process, because it seems to be hurting us black people more than anything. You know, we're being killed in so many different ways, and that's just another way to kill us. Because you don't hear them using a no-knock warrant in the white communities, and people are getting killed. You know, with them using a no-knock warrant, they only do it in the black communities. So that gives you pause for thought. I just think they should just get rid of it. You know. But my prayers go out to Amir Locke family, and I pray for a better day for all of us. I pray for that every day. But anyway, so I want to share with you again a little part of history about Black Belt. So if you have any comments, please by all means, write it in the comment section. You know, you can please subscribe, share, and like. And I'll see you next time. This is Charm City Decoded. I am your host, Sophia Turner. And I'll see you next week. Y'all have a great night.